By Alice in Wonderland, the ballet and dance performance blends illusion, acrobatics, magic, and whimsy. Momix Alice fills the stage with a marvelously dizzying flow of physical activities and illusions amid expansive, artful projections. Per the Wall Street Journal, join the dazzling company on a mind-bending adventure as Alice encounters time-honored characters, including the undulating caterpillar, a lobster, quadrille, frenzy white rabbits, a mad queen of hearts, and a variety of other surprises. Filled with visual splendor and startling creative movement, Alice reveals that nothing in Momix's world is as it seems. For more information and tickets, you can go to marcuscenter.org. That's marcuscenter.org.
Are you or a loved one facing challenges of dementia? It can be a difficult journey, but you don't have to go through it alone. Melanin Minded understands this uphill battle and seeks to be the bridge for information, service, and support for the people of color. Melanin Minded offers various resources to ensure caregivers are equipped with the right tools, knowledge, and help, from youth and men's health programs to the Legacy Home Health Services. For more information, please call 972-891-9187, 972-891-9187.
Hi, my name is Tamika Vukovic, Co-Executive Director of Wisconsin Voices. Please join Wisconsin Voices every Monday, Tuesday, and Friday. We will be focusing on community partnerships, voter education, and long-term collective impact for all Wisconsinites.
Hi, this is Keith Parris, the host of Community Voice, asking you to join us Mondays through Fridays from 9 to 11. You will hear from interesting guests, Wednesday's Word, and topics and subjects that impact our beloved community.
And don't forget about me, Devon Jones, DJ The Protege, here every Friday, bringing you Free Flow Friday, Politics Nation, Sports, Haters Nation, local events, national events. And remember, while I'm here, there'll be no passes given.
That's Community Voice, heard on The Voice, WNOV 860, 106.5.
WNOV 860 and W293CX 106.5 Milwaukee. The views and opinions expressed on this show do not reflect that of the staff and management of WNOV and W293CX 106.5 FM Courier Communications Milwaukee, but are the sole comments of the host and guest of this particular show.
Good morning. Welcome to. Ooh. Okay, what was that, man? Oh, your phone. It's coming through your phone, man. Hey. Good morning. There you go. Welcome to Community Voice. I'm your host, Keith Parris. I want to thank everybody for joining us this morning. It's First Friday, so we're joined in the studio by Mr. Craig Stingley. Good morning, Devo. Good morning, Carvey. Good morning, everybody. And DJ is going to join us a little bit shortly. He'll be here. So let me do this before I start. We'll get into the program today. Let me wish a happy birthday to Sister Dorothy McDuffie, 95 years young. So happy birthday, Mother McDuffie. 95 years. That's a long time. And beautiful, beautiful, beautiful woman, beautiful spirit. So happy birthday. We'll be celebrating with her tomorrow. 95 years, man. And I thought about it. It's great to get your flowers while you're still here able to smell them. And it's great to get your accolades while you're still here able to hear them, right? And so, 95 years. She's been very supportive, loving for me all the years. It seems like she known me all my life. So appreciate it. Yeah, a couple of years. So anyway, happy birthday, Sister McDuffie. She and my mom were in the same mission circle at Metropolitan. So, and they looked out for me, man. When I was a young college student, I always got a little something, every month from that circle supporting me while I was in school doing my academic pursuits. What's happening?
When our seniors season folk reach that age plateau, those various age plateaus, 70, 80, 90 years, if they, one, kept a journal or any type of laws on their, explorations, their experiences.
When you think about all she's lived through?
Oh, absolutely. That's why
the
thought goes there. It's like to be able to capture that information, then pass it on, right? That's the most.
That's crazy now because, I always say we're all creating history. We're creating our own history and being part of history and seeing things that, probably in my lifetime, I would have never thought I'd see a black president. And I remember asking my goddaughter, and she was maybe 17, 18. And I asked her, and she said she never thought in her lifetime she would see a black president. So I don't know.
How old is she now?
26, 27. I don't know if she got a chance to vote. I don't think she had a chance to vote for him. So, you think about history, man. We were talking about the assassination of Dr. King, and I can remember being it would have been, a 10-year-old, getting ready to turn 11.
Have you seen the movie on Shirley Chisholm?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Me and Michelle were going back and forth on that. I told Michelle, I thought Regina King was outstanding. Okay. I think the rest of it was pretty pedestrian. But she was great. Any scene you saw her in, she was great. But everybody else, it was. So I gave it about a 5.5. But her performance was outstanding.
That's interesting. With the history attached to it, was it from a?
Yeah.
I mean, why would you rate it so low? Was it?
Oh, because man, look, I love film. I love movies. So I'm looking at a certain level of how that movie is done, what it is, the actor.
And the director,
No, I have to pull it up.
So I think the thing I'm getting at is, with the history that specifically that they were bringing to light, the woman who was Shirley Chisholm. And then when it comes into film form, what did they miss that from your perspective as a?
I don't think they missed anything. Because there's a certain kind of
the quality of
the acting was it wasn't it was good, but it wasn't great. There's some performances where you go and it's just great performances, great movie, but it was it's tough. And then
the overall cast. So you said she did an outstanding.
She did an incredible job.
Supporting cast.
Right.
That's interesting.
John Ridley. Homeboy.
Oh yeah, right. I'm gonna have to see what did Michelle think about it.
Oh, she
loved it.
She loved it. Now the interesting thing was her sister was also in this movie.
Right. I saw her do an interview on it.
So was that her twin sister or just her sister? Just think it was just her sister. Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, but that's John. No, I don't know. She just said her sister.
She said it, I think it's her older
sister. Okay.
I could be mistaken, but I heard her do an interview.
And I think they hit some spots that was real interesting. But it's tough doing biopics, man, because how do you capture the life of that person? And especially when they have kind of like an outsize, it's like, how do you play Martin Luther King? Yeah. It is how do you play Malcolm X? I mean, they have such an outsized persona. It's hard to capture. Now, I think Jeffrey Wright is probably the best person ever to play Martin Luther King, and obviously Denzel Washington playing Malcolm X. And there's been others who've tried. I don't know if what is it? The Forrest Whitaker.
I'd like to see one down on Marcus Garvey.
Yep.
I think that would be a great.
But then how do you have to do a lot of filling? I mean, you're talking about on average a movie is about an hour and 45 minutes. Mm-hmm. So how do you get enough of that where you can really capture?
The portion of his life where he was heading up the organization, seeking to build ships. Mm-hmm. The whole back to Africa. Movie.
And talk about how the U.S. government went after him, even though they wanted us to leave.
Yeah. The parts of our history that they want to cover up. Right. And I think those things, as you said, as you were talking about with regards to, what is her name? The 95-year-old sister?
Sister McDuffie.
Yeah. So in regards to, just that history. Right. So there are things that are in our past that never gets transferred.
Well, just think about it. When racial segregation was codified, she's in Arkansas, and having to live with that, and live through that, So, yeah, it was like I said. I gave it a 5.5, 6. Others, might have. Others might have.
Keith, I want to ask a question. It's kind of off topic. But why does he get to stroll in when he gets ready, man? Is this like the show don't start till he get here?
He's coming from work, man.
Oh, he got a job?
Yeah, a real job, an important job. So, yeah, he's a boss. So he gotta.
Oh, so he can just.
He have a responsibility. Yeah, so I give him that lead way.
Yeah, I was just wondering.
No, I wouldn't know.
That's why I asked you. I didn't ask him.
Yeah.
I know he'd have something clever to say. So I just noticed, that he.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Is that all you have to say for yourself?
Good morning.
Yeah. Okay. I could understand if he was Sister McDuffie, you show up,
but she's always on time.
And that doesn't speak much for you, DJ. She's 95.
We're talking about Sister McDuffie's birthday today.
Right.
Yeah.
Happy birthday.
Yeah.
So you're not gonna comment on what I had to say. You just as you were saying, gentlemen, I think that's
Debo, what's my name, man?
DJ the protege.
That's right. That's right.
What's my name?
That's what
was the young man? What? I don't know. What was the young man? It'll come to me when we were talking about him being late, and he said something about him being free. Caller, welcome to the program. Yeah.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning.
Good morning, Keith.
Good morning.
Is DJ in there yet?
Yes, sir. Good morning.
Made it in. All right. Well,
he finally made it.
All right. Glad you made it, man. Well, a wonderful Friday, fun Friday. Again, good morning, Debo. Good morning, Milwaukee. Tyrone W. speaking. I haven't seen the movie yet, but I appreciate the fact that you all are going back and forth on it there. Dr. King, but just let me say this on the health thing there. I don't know. Let me see how good you all are there. Debo probably know. Why do you think they call it the Chitlin Circuit? Who's got the answer? I know the answer, but who knows why? Why did they? Why was it labeled the Chitlin Circuit?
Baseball.
No. Because they didn't. They sent them in the back.
Chitlin Circuit and golf too.
Say that again. Your mic is low, brother Stingley. By the way, yeah. Good morning, Craig. Yeah, your mic is low. It's hard picking you up. So your mic is low. You're kind of far back there.
Oh, my bad.
No,
But
you should be
yeah.
fine.
So
Is
yeah,
it on?
yeah.
Yeah, you wrong.
Okay, yeah. You were hard to hear there. Either you were low or you were far back because it was hard to pick up
I
anything.
was leaning.
Oh. look out
Sun
now! Don't tell
rooftop.
them something.
Digging the seed in my gangster league. Ooh.
But I'm looking forward to some good games, man. I mean, man, this Dawn Staley, man, and this Caitlin Clark, man, just got me more excited about the fellas. Really, to be honest with you, I am.
You know what, T? I just told me and Doug was talking. I said I'm more geeked about the women's Final Four than I am about the men's Final Four.
I agree.
And I mentioned it, man. They're actually shooting a better three. You know, their shooting percentage is much more better, and college as well as pros too. I mean, they're not missing as many. I mean, man, you know, I'll say this: when I see Brooke Lopez sit out there, he needs to have big behind down there, getting rebounds and slam dunking, going 1 for 8 on threes. Man, get your big waterhead behind down there, man, and get the rebounds and the boards, man. I mean, come on. I think it's pretty much run its course. I'm about ready to let Brooke Lopez, Middleton, and somebody else go so I can get me some first round picks. So I can get me some Zach Edey and some Tyler Kolek or somebody coming in. You know, some draft picks. You know.
You think Tyler Kolek is going to go in the first round?
Even if we get him off the scrap heap, man, he's a hustler.
Okay.
I love his energy. I love his energy.
You know, for the college game, he has a great game. I don't know how he translate that game to the pros.
Yeah, well, I mean, that goes for all of them, though. I mean, you still got to get out here and deal with, Wembanyama and, the big boys. Yeah, you got to do that, as a rookie.
You're not getting picked up from this one?
Huh?
No, we're just trying to get the mic straight.
Oh, okay.
Mic check.
But very quickly, I'll get back to sports here in a minute. But very quickly, the reason it was called the Chitlin Circuit is because they sent them in the back door, and instead of paying them cash, they paid them in chitlins. They paid him in chitlins. So that with the health report, well, that's why we.
I just thought they identified it with black people. And
I ain't never been that hungry.
Well, no, that's how we was mistreated. We couldn't get our money. They messing with the money, so they paid us in chitlins, man.
I never heard that before, man. Never heard that before.
What?
I never heard that before.
Yeah, well, that's what it is. That's why I was. You couldn't get your money, so you was paid in chitlins.
So you still eat chitlins?
Man, look here. I don't have no price to do with none of it.
Okay.
I stopped eating it after them headaches was gone. And the brother Jay and the other brothers told me to get off of it. I was off of it then. Right. But I'll tell you this though, to what Sister Dobson and other Dr. Izzard and others was talking about. That's what we got to deal with, though. We've turned it into a delicacy, but we've got to dig our way out this hole now, and do better for ourselves, because we've got to save ourselves, but we got to save this Caucasian individual and others from annihilating themselves and us too.
Honorable Elijah Muhammad told us to stop eating them things a long
time ago. Right. But
I've been off of it for years. The nation.
I've been off of it for years. Yeah. But that's a very big piece. Yeah. So that's why it was called the Chitlin Circuit. We couldn't get our money.
Love the FOI uniform, man. Love the discipline.
Oh yeah,
I'll never forget, man. The brother said, "Now, brother, you're gonna have to stop eating pork."
Brother Jerry,
I said, "By pork, do you mean bacon?
Are you ham?
Ribs, sausage? When you say pork, what are you talking about when you say pork?" But that's kind of interesting though. We talk about it. Parts of pork is it's leaner than beef, but because where we were in the economic strata, we had to eat what we had to eat, and I think you said something. Folks were hungry, and then you figure out how to make it a delicacy.
Right.
But I don't mess with them now. So
right, and we did it. And see, to move forward, what they did was they broke it down for me and told me what I did my homework. You go to the dictionary, the trichinosis and everything. So there's a little small parasite.
Right. Well, beef is not much better.
Well, that's true. Now with
any red meat.
Right. They say it takes forever to break down in your system.
The avian virus and many others there, but the trichinosis and everything. But there's a parasite, that's in the flesh of it. Trichina, the trichina worm, and it embeds itself in the flesh of the hog there, and that's where that's where the danger comes in, because once that parasite gets into the hog, the flesh of the hog there, well, it gets in us too,
All right, Ty. So, I got you here, man. Let's do some predictions. So,
oh man,
let's start with the women.
I will. Okay, go ahead.
Let me ask you. UConn and Iowa.
For the women or the men?
Women.
Man, I will say it's a good battle. If Caitlin's going to need some help, but she's going to get hers, but she can't do it by herself. So if they can come around her and give her the support that she needs, oh man, yeah, it's going to be Iowa. Pulling the
So if you get Caitlin and Becker to offset each other,
yeah,
who wins?
Yeah.
Of course,
I think UConn has the stronger
UConn
team.
is deeper, yeah, but never underestimate the heart of a champion. And I say that because of Juju Watkins, even though she's gone. But man, I mean, when you out there playing,
you see that sister for UConn in the middle? I forget her name.
Mew. Not Aaliyah, but the other one.
But then you have
Akia Mew.
Yeah, then you have Stuckey for
Yep,
Iowa.
right. Yep.
The sister, you've seen her? No, sister,
Yeah.
she's good.
Oh yeah,
she's
man.
really
This
good.
is out here straight up balling.
Right, yeah, she can ball. So I think it's
That
going to come
Greyhound.
down to you. I think that's a good observation, though. I think it's going to come down to what happens in the post.
Yeah.
And then what's her name? Becker,
Becker,
and
yeah.
Caitlin Clark. Will they? All right. North Carolina State, South Carolina.
Don Staley's got them playing that way again, man. They're pit bull pedigree down to the.
How do you lose 5 starters
Oh man,
that went to the
Still
Final
looking back.
Four and you go back to the Final Four?
And they got a little sister, a friend of mine, his granddaughter. Her name is Maddie McDaniel.
Yep.
She's McDonald All-American now.
Right,
and, one of, if not the best point guard in the country.
I love Raven Johnson.
She's balling. Yep.
I like Little Raven. Okay. All right. So let's get to the men.
Oh man. Well, I tell you,
who's Purdue
same thing. I mean, everybody's got to show up. Everybody's got to show up. Of course, I will say this about Alabama. I mean, they're a football school, but look here, if they get out there and rebound, make sure their passes are crisp, take the shots that they need to, don't beat themselves. I'll say they're going to be in it, man. I mean, they'll be right there. It'll be close. They're going to be right there, though. Yeah.
Who did you say?
Alabama. Alabama.
Oh.
Alabama, Connecticut. But Connecticut, yeah, they're the defending champs. But yeah,
Connecticut is a beast, man.
You got to defeat the champ. I mean, the champ ain't gonna beat themselves.
Right.
So you
got
to bring it.
And the thing about the NCAA, like high school, is one and done. I mean, so you can have where the team is not really playing well.
Right.
And
Marquette.
I think that happened. Well, I think with Marquette it was size. I think
they couldn't make a shot,
right, because of the size.
They had a lot of wide open shots. That had nothing to do with size.
Right.
They was missing.
The Wolfpack.
Yeah.
Oh, Wolfpack was bigger.
Well,
and last year against Michigan State, because Michigan State last year, same thing. They looked like grown men,
but those are
playing against boys.
No, that was different.
Why was it different?
They were more physical. Wolfpack was more physical than Marquette. Marquette they had a lot of open shots. They shot probably like
I think some of
30% of that game.
North Carolina State too.
Well, yeah, you think?
I just took it for granted. I mean, they didn't prepare.
But that's their coach's fault for not preparing them, because they were playing well throughout the ACC tournament, and that's just like the team that Wisconsin played.
Cookies for the Marquette,
right? The team that Wisconsin played, they were on a little bit of a hot streak.
Illinois
going into
James Madison.
Right, James Madison. They were in a hot streak going into the NCAA tournament. They won like 10 straight or something like that. So when you have that winning feeling, it's infectious.
and you know you gonna have to beat that team. That team is gonna beat themselves. And if you come in with a crazy mindset, lackadaisical, they're gonna beat you. And that's what happened in those two games.
I think, and the interesting thing about the men is when you look at the size. I mean, usually it's mature teams that win the NCAA championships. Young teams don't, right? So when you look at those teams, and there's an exception. I can't think of a real young team that's won anytime recently. Maybe UConn. I don't know how many people UConn brought back.
Creighton's pretty young. I mean,
Creighton never won an NCAA championship. They've gotten to the Final Four. Gonzaga's done it. But when you look at those teams,
7-footer, not a freshman though.
Who?
Zach Edey?
No, the dude for UConn. He's not a freshman. So
he was there last year.
Yeah, so he had a solid. So they had solid size last year.
Farrer, or something like that.
Then they got that brother, big brother coming off the bench.
But Steve, you also got the young man for Purdue there that lost his dad too, Lavelle or something. He's playing with his heart in his hand too about his dad there.
I just think UConn plays with a lot more maturity.
Oh yeah.
Than every other team I've seen.
The training and all, But that's what I'm saying. You really got to go out and knock the champion off the throne. They're not.
Yeah, and how often does a team even repeat? I mean, the fact that they even coming back in the Final Four.
The last team was Florida Gators.
Right, and that was
and that was unheard of then.
Right.
Yep.
Billy Donovan's team.
Yep. So
those dudes decided they could have went pro, but they decided to stay to come back and win another championship.
And they did.
I saw something today on the NIL issue.
Yeah, I was looking at that too.
Yeah, it just
what's the issue?
The NIL, the name, image, and likeness.
Name,
for colleges.
Right.
But the what's this guy named Storr out of Wisconsin? Did he apparently put himself into the portal?
Yeah,
and was offered $750,000 from who was it? Kansas.
Okay,
and he turned it down.
Where's he gonna go?
He's waiting on $1 million.
He came from St. John's. He's a transfer.
Before he came to Wisconsin?
Yeah.
I don't know how legitimate or not it is, but they said Bronny James is in the portal.
Yeah. Well, apparently he was going something in the Big Ten. Supposed to be coming somewhere in the Big Ten.
Well, he could have stayed at USC.
Even if
because they're in the Big Ten next year.
Right. Does it really?
But if I was him, I would have went to Ohio State. Have your dad house.
But even if you look at what Ice Cube is offering Caitlin Clark, I mean, $5 million.
That's
you got to take that money. You can go back. You can almost buy you.
If she plays in the WNBA, she can take the money.
You take the money. You can buy the university.
They have a contract. She get hurt playing in that
big three.
In that big three. It's $5 million is a one-time shot.
Yep.
But that comes to show you that a lot of these women are in no pressure to leave college now. Because of NILs, they making Angel Reese was making far more money she's gonna make when she gets to the WNBA.
Ice Cube has been on a record saying that Adam Silver has been doing stuff behind the scenes to diminish the big three.
Really?
Yeah, he's been so. And the WNBA is with the NBA, and so that will be some conflict as well. So.
There's the music, but I'm gonna let y'all run. I'm tuned in, so be blessed, mate. Have fun with it. We'll talk.
All right,
thanks.
All right, you listen to Community Voice. Phone lines open 414-444-5250, 414-444-5250. Quick break. We'll be right back.
Milwaukee. This is Michelle Bryant, your host of Say Something Real. When President Joe Biden wanted to talk to Milwaukee voters, he called WNOV. And welcome President Biden to Milwaukee and to WNOV. How you doing today, sir?
I'm doing well. I had a great event downtown, and I'm at the headquarters now, and we're feeling really good. It's a great day. We have a lot of 1,000 volunteers going out here in Wisconsin, out of Milwaukee in particular.
So we are ready to roll in Wisconsin.
Well, I tell you what, God love you. We win Wisconsin, we win it all.
For up-to-date election information, keep it locked on WNOV 860 AM, 106.5 FM.
tired of that old junker taking up space in your driveway? Well, say goodbye to the clunker and hello to Cash at Select Auto Parts, your one-stop shop for all things auto. We buy junk cars for top dollar and offer a wide selection of used auto parts, guaranteed to keep you riding smoothly without breaking the bank. Be sure to inquire about our tire deals. New or used, we've got you covered. For more information, please call 414-763-3474 and visit Select Auto Parts at 2500 West Cornell Street.
Round two, second round two. Hey, this is Mr. Winky Blue, and I want to invite you to another fabulous town hall fish fry where the rednecks in the woods and the thugs in the hood collide, and we set that mess to the side. Hey, this is Greg Kennedy, and I'm cordially inviting you to our second consecutive town hall meeting. The date is April 26, 5:30 p.m. in Milwaukee. You want to be there. Free vapes will be sponsored by Cool Breeze Vape Company. The first 50 people through the door will receive those. This is another Winky Blue production, and you don't want to miss it. Again, April 26th, 5:30 p.m., 100 Gems Restaurant, 6727 North Titonia Avenue. Don't meet us there, beat us there.
Prom is here, and graduation is near. Stop by Nick Avani's, where they have a large variety of suits, blazers, and shoes to get you right for that special day. You already know Nick Avani has the $100 hookup. You can get a suit, shirt, tie, and shoes, all for just $100. Nick Avani's, open 7 days a week with an on-site tailor. Nick Avani's on the second floor of the Mayfair Mall, across from the movie theater. Carter's Creations, when quality and service matters for any occasion. Sometimes you just want to send a floral arrangement for a get well, anniversary, birthday, or I messed up, or just because. Carter's Creations at 1727 West Hampton Avenue is the place you need to call. So call them today at 414-265-1727 or visit them online at carterscreations.com. Carter's Creations has been in business for over 30 years. Therefore, you know they know what they're doing. They also specialize in funerals as well. So when you need that special floral arrangement, think of Carter's Creations, when quality and service matter.
You're listening to WNOV 860 and W293CX 106.5 Milwaukee.
That's your song. You got to get your scat on, man.
All right, welcome back to Community Voice. As I prepare my voice for my scatting a little bit later in the program.
Hey.
All right, I was just pulling up what the tickets were
for the
Final Four.
1,000.
What?
Let's see.
You got to be way more than that.
Well, it depends on where you sit.
Yeah.
Don't play no games.
I'm just trying to be reasonable.
That ain't
that's
reasonable.
even a lot.
Yeah.
We've been watching it.
Here we go. Here we come. NCAA ticketing. I hope it's not going to go through. All right. So was it UConn, Alabama?
I believe so.
North Carolina.
That's tonight?
State, Purdue? No, that's tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
The
Everything
women
should
be
be
tomorrow,
tonight, right?
Yeah, women are Friday, Sunday. The men are Saturday, Monday. Final Four.
Alabama, UConn, huh?
Y'all want to do the championship tickets?
It don't matter to me.
Okay.
I ain't going.
You ain't going? It's in Phoenix, right?
No.
So the women are in Cleveland and the men are in Phoenix.
Right.
Okay. All right. 414-444-5250. I'm pulling up the ticket prices.
A minute ago we were talking about history.
Yes, sir.
And I saw this morning a report on a new bill in Wisconsin that requires now, I believe it's the high schools, to teach AAPI history.
What's that?
The Asian American Pacific Islander history.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not that I'm against it, but again, we had this same issue related to African American history.
Okay.
So I guess my concern or my problem with it is, why does the legislature feel it necessary to mandate, and then not basically just cover all of it? Say we're going to cover all these various ethnic groups' history. That way, you eliminate this discriminatory type of practice, right? It's I mean,
know why.
Well, yeah, but that's the problem.
I would say that history is extremely important. I love history. We often argue and debate on who should be teaching and what should be taught about history, and we often neglect the mirror ourselves. If we just look at it in the most simplistic term, I cannot teach you about your family tree.
True.
And so
right down to the core.
So I should not be holding someone accountable,
right,
if they don't teach my child my family tree. That starts
that's an excellent point.
That starts at home.
Right.
And so no matter what they do, and yes, you should know what has happened throughout history. You should know what has happened with every pieces of people from now to all the way back when there were no cars, and there were no shoes. But there does come a point to where it's on me to teach my history and to give the full scope of what is important and what it is to be who we say we are.
Right. And I agree with that. I guess the issue I have more than anything else is this whole move to remove Black history out of the curriculums across the country right now.
It's not just Black history, though.
But I think that's just doing us a favor.
Well, I'm more concerned about just the general concept. All those other ones, but to be specific about.
This is we can't silo this. If we're saying that the history should be included, then all history should be included.
Oh no, I agree.
And we should be as equally as adamant about making sure that women's studies are done as much as we are about African American studies, about Indigenous people studies. Because to be pitted against one another in terms of, well, my history is more important. My history is no more important.
But on the converse side, that is what the legislature is doing when they say we're going to remove Black history, or we're not going to allow that to be taught, but then we're going to allow all these others. So, and essentially that is what they're doing, is they're pitting them against each other.
Okay, but we don't have to. I think something that I find amazing is
we should be looking at their homework anyway.
Right. And I think how are we teaching that history?
Right.
I think it's our responsibility, one, for our kids to at least know history. And I could say for the average Black kid leaving his home, they're not sitting there going around, hey, you know what? We need to learn this. We need to learn that in terms of our history. So,
but then that would be applicable to all the other groups as well.
Right.
Right. So,
not the Jewish people.
Why not?
Because Sabbath school, when they're in Sabbath school on the Sabbath, they learn their history.
No. I understand that, but we've had schools and we have schools now.
When we come to Sunday school,
on our history.
When we come to Sunday school, we don't talk about Black history. Right? It's not part of, unless we're doing it for Black History Month. We don't see it as an opportunity to teach our kids. What we're doing is we're teaching them Bible. And I'm just saying, who's responsible for that in terms of understanding the history? I think it's our responsibility to be able to do that. During Black History Month, we do Black trivia questions. Many of the callers can't answer the questions, right?
And that's part of the problem, right? Because it's not, I mean, when you put the responsibility back into the home, which is where it should start.
I don't think that's a problem, because Black history is never ending. And so there are things that you know that I don't know, but On the contrary, there are some things that I know that you don't know. That's not a problem. That's just that our history is so expansive that, there's a number of things that we could ask each other and not know. I mean, we could do that with basketball. We could do that with movies. We could do that
talking
with
about
shoes.
rudimentary. I'm not talking about knowing about Bayard Rustin. I'm not talking
what
about
is
knowing about Dorothy
rudimentary about
Cotton.
what is rudimentary about our history? Our
No,
history
what
is
I'm
not
saying,
that simplistic.
a basic understanding of history. If I asked Carvey, I'm not trying to put you on the spot. Who's Booker T. Washington? Famous black man.
No, the brother.
Go on, man.
Kind
of. You thinking George Washington Carver?
No.
Oh, okay. There you go.
Right, but so the thing.
Everybody know that.
I mean, when you try to limit, to your point, when you try to limit our history,
everybody know about George Washington Carver
to just America, which it is limiting, right? And then when we're spread all over the world. But my point again is I accept that we have a responsibility to teach our own history.
Right.
Back to your point. That responsibility should be across the board for every ethnic group. And so when you start saying, even for quote unquote Jewish people, that their history needs to be taught in the schools, it's a requirement. Then you come with this bill saying this is another
let's be the Holocaust.
Well, it doesn't matter to me. I'm not going to be that specific. I'm talking about their history.
You have to be, because I think in fairness,
why
you should be, because you want people to be fair to you. And I'm just saying, let's be fair. Let's call it what it is. It is, they want to teach about the Holocaust specifically. And the reason why that bill was allowed to pass is you talking about something that happened in Germany in history. We're not talking about anti-Semitism in America. There is no, people are not going to allow, when I say allow, because now, or even when you teach the Holocaust, I'm asking the question, what about America's silent complicity in the Holocaust, knowing that these things were happening, rejecting Jews who had gotten out of Germany, gotten out of Poland, wouldn't let them allow here?
Then do you allow a parallel track for the Black Holocaust or, the transatlantic, but it's not. See, and that's what I'm saying. But there isn't. The information is there, but it's not being, mandated to be part of the curriculum.
So is it important that white people know Black history?
I think it's important that all the people know.
But is it
the
important
history of
Wisconsin?
This country?
Wisconsin's a predominantly white state. So if we mandate Black history,
German history and U.S. history,
we know U.S. history,
European history, right?
Well, U.S. history is probably a requirement. We start getting into European history, African history, Asian history. That's a little bit different. When we talk about U.S. history, the propaganda is, of course, you want to teach this propagandized, sanitized version of what American history is.
Right.
Okay. Right. That's all part of the nationalism.
So then what does the Holocaust in and of itself have to do with American history? That requires it to be part of the curriculum for every student that comes through this school system. We know that it happened. It didn't happen here. Right. Even though
there's a lot of seeds of what happened in here that allowed it to happen
so
there.
You can say the foundational, sickness was taken from the United States. Right.
I think if anything, it starts at home. If anything, you need to know your own.
True.
And,
I agree with that.
And so when you, if we had it in such a way where not everybody, but a majority of our people were clear on our history.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, I think we're better off.
Oh yeah.
But what is clear on our history? Because even if we go to American history, American history isn't so bland that we could just, we have to start with this and we have to end with this. There is a lot of things in American history that I deem as influential to culture and society and what has shaped various literature that others may be like, we don't care about that. I mean,
but there's a point where that becomes important to the next generation for us. so that they recognize their value, their life value, right? And I think that's the disconnect that we've had.
So I think, and to my point, I did not learn about the Reconstruction period until I was about 21, 22 years old.
Mm-hmm.
I think that the Reconstruction period is something that is extremely important, and that should be taught in every school, or at
Let me
least
ask y'all a question.
should have been acknowledged.
Mm-hmm.
But people don't know about the Reconstruction period. In fact, I didn't know about the Reconstruction period until I was in college. And so that is one of the many things that has happened in history.
Okay.
But, you know,
let me ask you
it's a reason why it's not in school.
Do you think our people over the years have had more shame from our association, our connection to slavery in this country, than being able to recognize the resilience and therefore the pride that comes in us being able to weather that or to have navigated through it all and still be here doing?
I think that's an older generation thing, because we know about slavery,
right?
And we understand that we are the descendants of slaves. My grandmother's grandmother was born into slavery, right? But there's nobody that I've ever met that I've grown up with look at ourselves as like, oh, woe is me, I'm black, the history that we've come from. Like, we don't come from that. Like that test to where those dolls, you know, the lighter they got, the more highly they was picked. But the darker those dolls got, the more disdain they got, and more negatively that didn't come when.
And of your generation, what percentage of your generation would you say ascribes to that?
I'd love to hear that.
That mentality
of what?
That you're not looked at as, you know, those who've been downtrodden and therefore still have that stigma attached to you.
I would probably say 70% or more.
Really? Do you think it has anything to do with the destructive mentality that many of our youth have today?
That's different. The destructive mentality that our youth have today is not because they see themselves as otherworldly or superior. They have no discipline. They haven't been taught structure.
Okay.
And understanding and knowing that choices make consequences.
Right.
And you know, these things have a lasting effect on your life and others. The mere me looking in the mirror and seeing who I am and my mentality, that's different than that.
Let me ask you, and just to tag this piece into that, do you believe that there's a responsibility for us in this generation as it relates to the sacrifices that were made from our ancestors, that they endured all those things so that you could realize what you just described about, I don't have to feel like I'm second class in this society?
Absolutely. And that's part of the reason why I believe people that you know are in my generation feel that way, and younger.
Feel what way?
That whole you know, we were slaves and we were just looked down upon, and oh, woe is me. Like we don't think that way.
I don't think that way. And that's not a generational thing we're talking about.
But yes, it is when it comes to negatively being down on your history and wanting to shun it because of how we were treated and how we were portrayed. That is a generational thing, and that does have.
That's not my generation.
What?
That's not my generation, dude. I grew up when at the apex of embracing, and I hate to use the term, blackness. So my generation was immersed. We lived through civil rights, right? So you lived through that particular history. What we get now is that there are young people who, just like maybe there were young people in my generation, going, you know what? That don't mean nothing. And when we set up, and when you guys said, let me do this real quick so I forget. I was in Washington, D.C.,
Dude was on the street. He had a T-shirt on. He said, Black history began with slavery. Some ways you're right if you use the term, if you say black. But our history is older than enslavement in America. Enslavement, right? Enslavement in America is only part of African people history.
So why is that always highlighted? So why is that always highlighted?
Because we have, like, when you ask people where they're from, Mississippi. Well, yeah, but no. You were someplace, your folks were someplace before they got to Mississippi.
So
we're not indigenous to America. So what I'm saying is how we understand it. Let me say something else. And this is what I'm very I'm sorry. That I'm really concerned with. There has not been a change. So I'm gonna give you something that even your generation is struggling with. All of us are. Colorism. This idea that we reject what looks African to embrace what looks European. That's what we do. That has not changed. Black women straightening their hair, right? When we put lye in our hair to look like a certain thing.
That's not a generational thing. That's a societal thing.
No. I'm talking about African American people.
That's a societal thing, though. And
I'm talking about us. And so that generational piece is the same level of ignorance, maybe in my generation, is still in your generation. Because what we have not done is, one, we don't embrace the ancestors. We don't. You know, we were taught in Christianity, that's animism, that's worship. No. Embracing your ancestors. Every group embraces the group that came before them. Every group does that. That's why in the Bible it says, honor thy mother and thy father. You are honoring those people who came before you. How do we know how to honor that? We have to be taught that we honor and so when we talk about young people not respecting older people, because you have not been taught to honor your ancestors.
That's the piece that goes
hold
back to the original conversation.
Hold on.
Let me connect this. That's the piece that goes back to that history taught in the home.
So one, my generation and your generation, we were both taught that we were kings and queens. We've heard that before. Okay. All right. But that kings and queens stuff is not highlighted more than the slavery part. That's one. And so to his point, that is something that older generations often shunned and looked down upon because of the negative portrayal of how we were treated during that period of time.
I think the older generation, that's why you had Negro History Week, because of that. Because Carter G. Woodson thought it was important that we understand our history and our history in totality. So then it would raise our self-esteem as people.
Two, I do not want to hear that younger people don't listen to older people.
I didn't say that.
That's basically what you said.
That's not
you said that we don't embrace. You said that we don't embrace our ancestors.
Do we?
There's a percentage that do, and there's a percentage.
But here's the thing:
that miss it.
We often,
right? So it's not like,
but we often bring that up as if that's a one-side street. That's a one-way street. That street is twofold. One, me and you had this conversation many times. That one, the older generations, whoever the older generations are, and the younger generations, whoever the younger generations are, they talk about the same thing. But nobody is willing to listen.
What do you mean they talk about the same thing?
Oh, they don't understand. They don't listen. They think they know it all. Both sides say that. They have no respect.
I can say this.
Both sides, but listen, both sides say that.
Say what?
What I just said. See, you're not listening. And so there is some pushback. So then there's always pushback from people who are older.
We don't listen to one another, right?
Either side listens.
Right.
The interchange.
So now that side is saying that they don't listen. You can't tell them nothing, and the other side is saying, man, they think they know that they think they know everything.
Okay, but that's generational. That's been since they've been people.
But that goes to what you just said. That nobody embraces the ancestors. It's a twofold conversation.
If you talk to young brothers in Nigeria, still there. Because ancestors are important and elders are respected because we're still there. In America, we got a different thing going on. Because in America, what's happening is when you get older, then people say, what is your use? And I understand that, and I can appreciate that. That's American culture, and so we have been incorporated with this American culture. I understand that, but what I'm saying is that when people get up, people like if I had Baba Tony Courtney here, he would ask before they start the meeting, who's the oldest in the room? Yeah, and then they would ask may I proceed? Now people go, well, why are you doing that? You're acknowledging respect, because when I told somebody, if you're 1 minute older in Africa than someone, you are their elder. In America, we don't. That's an American thing, and we're so Americanized.
But that's an important aspect of our culture. That
and so then you understand your history, because if I respect my ancestors, then I need to know what my ancestors experienced to get to this point. The other piece of it is African people are older than 400 years. And we're in this silo.
Kwaku does that as well.
Right, where we're talking like we just got here. Black history didn't start when we got here. We had African history. I did this during Black History Month. I stood up and I said, who's the richest man ever of all time? Can anybody tell me who's the richest man who ever lived?
Mansa Musa.
There you go. Now, most people don't know that.
That's my son's nickname, Musa.
Musa. But no, most people don't know that. So
most people don't even know who's the richest black man.
We could do this all day. Some callers want to get in.
I want to keep them
waiting.
Get the call.
You want to take the caller?
Yes, sir.
You don't care who it is?
No.
Oh, okay.
Bring it.
Let's see.
All right. Good morning. Welcome to the program.
Good morning to you.
Good morning.
I do care. Next caller. Why don't you tell me? I do care.
You should have known that.
When I said you in
that was the setup.
I said it yesterday. Matter of fact, when I was on my way here this morning, I said you should have invited me.
Because he always want to get in these conversations, right?
What'd you say? What'd you say, Meech?
I promise you, this won't hurt long.
It won't hurt long.
We'll see.
Pull it.
We will see.
How slow?
We will see.
That knife.
It's still in my back, though.
That's it.
It's still in my back. What's happening, man?
No, I was listening at the protest. He was saying some fiery things. But he brought up the Dow thing, and I would challenge him this Sunday when he's him and his old lady sitting by looking at some of the reality TV shows. You'll see the Dow syndrome in effect. You'll see the baddies, Caribbean stuff. You never see them. They're always picking through the dark-skinned girls, and they always got these mixed light-skinned girls. Just look at the television. The Dow effect syndrome is in full effect right now, especially in our community. So just check that out next time you're watching these programs. And you guys were saying something about, I don't know, man. You messed me up when you started laughing, man. I don't know. But anyway, I want to.
So Meech, let me ask you, what end of the spectrum is that Dow effect on in media today?
Well, it's alive and kicking because
no. I'm saying, give me a. Is it on the darker side? Is it?
It's on the lighter side. It's still light. You all right? Black girls, listen to this, man. Keith talked about how we want to assimilate to the white white culture, and we are so twisted as black people that we even buying booties. That's for white girls to buy booties. That's for white girls to buy lips. But because they're doing it, we're doing it. We putting on lips now. We look like something out of this world because God has already given us the feature that these people are after. Yeah. So you know something, white girls finally caught on to why their counterparts, their males, are attracted to black women. They can't keep them out of the strip club. They can't keep them off the line. They can't keep them from going down on the track. Why are these guys want these black girls? And they realize that, hey, the white man has always wanted a white woman in a black body. He don't want a culture. He don't want a chicken and pig feet and all that. He just want a white woman in a black body. That's why you would always adore your trap with long blonde hair, Okay, long fingernails, stuff that black girls never actually.
Meech, we're not doing pimping 101.
Yeah, no, hold on. You didn't even have to go there because you didn't have to say that.
You said trap. Come on, man. You said trap. You said trap. I didn't say anything. You brought up trap and what you put in the trap to catch folks. Did you not bring that up?
No. But we talking over most people's head.
No. Obviously, you wasn't over mine.
Well, because you ain't most people.
That was somewhere. It was a compliment in there somewhere.
Yeah, somewhere.
That's halfway out.
I mean, come on. We all played up and down the Green Bay 3rd Street and shot. We worked. We did a lot of fun.
Okay, Meech, make your point now. Come on.
Okay, my point is this right here: is that black women are doing what their white counterparts are trying to do, and they don't have to do it because they want to be accepted. Going back into that 400-year thing, that's a whole conversation, man, that I would have to be sitting around the table to chop it up with you guys because the radio just ain't going to let me pour a quart in a pint that fast. So anyway, I just thought I would throw that in for kicks. It's so much in this, man, that you guys, so much meat at this table, man. I don't know what to pick from, so I'll get out of here and let somebody else sit down and dine.
All right. And there will be a test later in the program about how you're supposed to do your trap. All right. Pimpin' 101. You just what it look like.
I didn't know why they put the blonde wig on. I had no clue.
But his point is a great point.
It is.
We do not embrace our African beauty. We do not.
I think we're doing it more.
We're doing it more. When you spoke to something earlier, I was going to say, I don't know if you noticed the trends and going back to the braids and things of that nature that kind of would take us back to our African ancestry when we start speaking to
or natural.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a sister
that's coming back as well.
She's just a beautiful afro, man. It's just beautiful. She said, "Oh, it's a bad hair day." I said, "No, it's a beautiful hair day." I mean, just being able to. But you both bring up great points. One,
have either of you seen anything more beautiful than a African American queen with a nice afro, no makeup, just I'm talking about some beauty right there, man. Yeah.
Because look at it, even in when you're doing those Facebook pictures, they lighten, and you look at people and you go, wow. But when you see them in person, so I think that there's
you say the same thing. Wow.
Or even with some locks, man.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think
just the natural beauty of the sister,
right? I think, but we have to. I never forget and it came down to how they were dealing with obesity in young black women, and someone was making the argument, "Oh, that's because men want junk in the trunk." And I'm going, well, first of all, it's a myth thinking that every black woman has a big butt. The reality is, you go to places like Kenya, they don't have big butts in Kenya, right? So this idea that this is a black thing, and then if anybody watches Channel 12 in the morning, the weather, Lindsay.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I mean, you look at her from behind and you think,
don't mention Lindsay.
Yeah, that's a sister, right? So
I switched from 6 to 12,
right,
to watch Lindsay
I'm
every
serious.
morning.
And when you
that's just being honest. You're right.
Have you seen her?
My guy, he called up like, man, you see Lindsay?
Lindsay Slater?
You ain't never seen her? You ain't paying no attention?
Slater?
I honestly, I never paid attention to her.
I'm not really there
for other reasons.
She's a beautiful, beautiful Caucasian woman.
I never paid attention to her like
Talk
that.
about junk in the trunk.
See, and I guess I
have changed my dial.
I have not. I probably have seen the program.
Well, you ain't watching. You gotta watch the weather.
Like I haven't looked at her like that.
No, she's the weather.
I like you brothers. I like you strong brothers. I never gonna look at a white woman like that.
Wrong.
Well, no, see,
I didn't say that. I just said
what's the movie?
I just never looked at her like that.
What's the movie with the dude fight the power? And he brings his whole white woman out the
I
back.
can recognize the beauty in the woman.
I'm gonna get you something.
And her being voluptuous without it being like, oh man. And that's
I never looked at her like that.
Lindsay Slater will stand out to you. I'm telling you.
Man,
I'm telling you,
they
dude.
Change
dude.
The whole perception.
Dude, I'm just telling you, man. I'm gonna get you sucker. You know who that was though that played the white woman?
Who was that?
That's Eve Plum. Eve Plum from the Brady Bunch. She played. Who was the middle girl? Jan.
Jan.
She was Jan that's Eve Plum. But anybody saw the movie I'm Gonna Get You Sucker, he's looking for, he goes to Clarence Williams III.
Because I
they're trying to put the band back together, right?
Is that I can compliment a woman on being beautiful and fine without it being something that makes me lusting after.
No.
Yeah.
So now you're misinterpreting.
Okay, well, don't let me misinterpret.
I'm not lusting. I'm just observing.
Okay, so I'm gonna take you to the.
A wise man once told me that
the lust
he
of the
was
flesh,
married, not blind.
the lust of the eye.
Well, you know what I always
I ain't
said?
mad at him.
It don't matter where you get hungry, just make sure you eat at home.
Damn. I ain't never heard that.
No. Two people that stuff me in the matter.
Are you married?
24 hours.
Are you married?
Sometime that temptation,
you wouldn't understand.
you ain't gonna resist that temptation.
Oh, yes,
one day,
yes, you will.
One
I
day,
basically am.
you're gonna be salivating,
Basically,
and she's gonna be so fine.
Can we get back though, just so we talked about how?
How do we get on Lindsay? That's my song. How do we get on Lindsay? Oh, he brought up
Y'all done
Lindsay.
stepped on that
Yeah,
street.
y'all did that, man.
Right.
That was Keith brought up.
Right.
No, but I'm just saying,
we'll let y'all
we
off.
have these myths
We'll let
about
y'all
my name Bennett.
about
I honestly, I think and again, we have to be able to
I sure hope
have.
Lindsay husband
I'm
ain't
gonna just say
listening.
it. We have to
Hope my wife
start from a
ain't
place of self-respect, so that we can have that same
See a whole
respect
wardrobe change.
for those women. Particularly irregardless of what color. But when you train your mind to say that sister, you can't top it. You can't top it. So,
and this is kind of interesting. That kind of, we weren't going to do this, but let's talk about it. That kind of gets into where we are with P. Diddy now in terms of the abuse of women, right? And we argue, I know some argue, oh, that's just the business. That's the culture. That's just what they do in the culture. These folks know what they're signing up for. But there has to be a discussion around violence towards women, and particularly violence towards African American women, because there is a lot of violence and we can justify this, and rape is a form of violence, and you're trafficking people. I mean, the whole thing. So, and I know there are going to be people who are defending him, but I think we have Russell Simmons. I just lost all respect for Russell Simmons. Too many women coming out saying you did this for me not to believe that you didn't do it.
There's a connection between those two individuals?
Yeah.
Or?
What do you mean?
With Simmons and Diddy.
Yeah, they all got caught up with the
I
suits.
heard about Diddy. I didn't hear about Russell.
Yeah, Russell Simmons ain't been in the country in a long time.
Oh, why not?
Because of this.
Oh, thank you. There you go.
Yeah.
Good point. There you go.
I did not know that.
Yes. I mean, this dude.
He don't live in America no more.
Yeah, I mean,
they was
man,
on him.
At least Bill Cosby drugged him. You listen to Community Voice. Let's take a break. We'll be right back. Pudding pop.
Voice, all right.
Calling all high school students.
Hey, what it do? This is Quabana Anton Nixon. Catch me Tuesdays through Fridays on WNOV 860 from 3 to 5 p.m. with culture, community, and conversations. Pull up, you on the porch with Quab. That's Tuesday through Friday from 3 to 5 p.m. on the new 860 WNOV and 106.5.
won't you stick with me, baby? I'm going to make a lot of bread. I mean both money and actual bread. But right now I need dough, cause my delivery truck's dead. And by dough I mean money. Trucks don't run on bread.
Owning a small business isn't always as lovely as it sounds, but with personalized discounts that save you money, Progressive Commercial keeps you humming along. Get a quote in as little as 6 minutes at progressivecommercial.com.
I need more dough. Need with an N. I need more dough. Need with a K.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Coverage and discounts not available for all vehicles or states. Policy terms and conditions apply.
Bacchus Insurance Group, along with Greenwood Park Gallery and Framing Incorporated, would like to present Mindful Mondays, a dynamic monthly gathering and wine tasting event designed to empower aspiring business owners and professionals to forge new paths in emerging industries. Join us April 8th, 5:30 to 7:30 p.m. to learn more about the podcast industry. Located at Greenwood Park Gallery and Framing at 4233 West Fond du Lac Avenue. For tickets, go to greenwoodparkgallery.com or call 414-444-5166.
The Marcus Performing Arts Center presents Momix Alice, April 11th in Eline Hall. Inspired by Alice in Wonderland, the ballet and dance performance blends illusion, acrobatics, magic, and whimsy. Momix Alice fills the stage with a marvelously dizzying flow of physical activities and illusions amid expansive, artful projections. Per the Wall Street Journal, join the dazzling company on a mind-bending adventure as Alice encounters time-honored characters including the undulating caterpillar, a lobster, quadrille, frenzied white rabbits, a mad queen of hearts, and a variety of other surprises. Filled with visual splendor and startling creative movement, Alice reveals that nothing in Momix world is as it seems. For more information and tickets, you can go to marcuscenter.org. That's marcuscenter.org.
Are you a small business owner looking to scale your business all 2024? Register for our upcoming boot camps every first and third Saturday of the month, where you can learn about personal and business credit, marketing and branding, and how to get funding for your business. Just go on our website, twbcc.com, click the 3000 Black Business Challenge tab, and sign up and register for upcoming dates.
What's up, Milwaukee? It's me, Mr. Debo, your host of the Blues Cafe. I'm inviting you to join me each and every Saturday right here on the all-new 860 WNOV and 106.5 for the best blues this side of the Mississippi. Think of a little of this.
It's been too long, much too long.
And a little of that. And at 11 o'clock, it's the Burnt Toast and Coffee Check-In. Your chance to take over the show and become the host for just a few doggone minutes. Saying happy birthday, Nick Wilson, send out condolences. I'm not sure of what it is, but you're invited to join us and have interviews with some of your favorite artists. We'll feature new music. It all happens each and every Saturday from 9 until 2, right here on 860 WNOV at 106.5 FM.
Hey, this is Chris Heavy Levy. I'm back. And I'm inviting you to join me every Saturday afternoon starting at 2 for the Backtracks and More show, where you'll hear and this. How about all this and more happening right here on 860 WNOV and 106.5 FM Saturday afternoon from 2 until 6. Remember, tell a friend.
WNOV 860 and W293CX 106.5 Milwaukee. Now, back to Community Voice with your host, Keith Parris and Devon Jones, DJ The Protege.
Get a little bit of that Al Jarreau.
I always love to see when we have like guests coming in and we coming back.
Did you guys see? You guys see the article? There was an article there. They're wanting to make a postage stamp
Al Jarreau.
of Al Jarreau.
They should.
And that would be another great doc.
He an icon. He's more than a legend. He an icon.
Yeah, well, they're talking about it.
That brother lived right down here, didn't he?
Yeah.
I just received the article day before yesterday. So.
All right, and now it's time, callers. We're going to get you right after the perspective. Now it's time for the protege's perspective.
With so much information being passed around, it's difficult to distinguish the real from the fake. Most of it is so intriguing that it's impossible to negate an immediate reaction to everything that is being seen and heard. Fact checking isn't the same anymore. It just leads you to more questioning. Society has shifted from caring about details and accuracy. Now it's about being first and getting views. A wise man once told me, believe half of what you see and none of what you hear. Never did I imagine that there may come a time where I'd have to believe none of what I see and none of what I hear. I mean, did it happen? Yes. I saw it and I heard it, but was it real? Just like attention, all information isn't good information. Citing sources is something that should go far beyond the classroom. But what do we deem a credible source? How does it gain that credibility? Society is so obsessed with being first that it has neglected clarity, transparency, and proper context. Things that are spoken ever so passionately are mistaken for accuracy. With the eagerness to deceive, how can we decipher what to believe? Is there ever a time where a man shouldn't question what he sees? There's an old saying that marks the spot where an answer has yet to be retrieved, and it reads, row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. Merrily, 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 life is but a dream.
Is that where you dropped the mic?
Yeah,
I'm done.
Life is but a dream.
That boy
The scripture
deep.
says the dream comes through a multitude of visions.
That boy deep. That boy deep.
Yeah. You're snapping on it.
Yeah, you gotta
you funny.
put the snaps on it. That boy deep.
Hey.
I heard a guy one time. He said, when you receive something really special,
profound,
and it's good, and all you can say is wow.
Yeah, that boy deep.
And it deep do.
And it deep.
I don't know if y'all being funny, if y'all
No.
Bring it halfway out, Craig.
Let me say this. When you cause people to ponder on your words, they're not playing. You just reflecting on
that protege, man.
The content, right? I think every time you bring something, man, it causes reflection.
A couple times he was giving out passes. He was giving passes that day.
I think you always got a nugget. See, that's what you look for is nuggets.
Yeah, but I never gave a pass to nobody.
Yeah, you did.
I never gave a pass.
You did. Who was it? It was the first time in history. Who was it? God, who was it?
Because somebody called and was like,
no, you were talking about people. You were saying something about how they might have something going on in their life. Were we talking about voting or something?
Oh, no. This is what we were talking about. You were talking about Juneteenth.
Okay.
And them people want candy.
Right. And you said the sugar.
The grown folks.
Okay.
I said, what's wrong with the grown folks getting candy?
The diabetics.
But y'all left out. See, that's why I said in here.
I called in and said you're giving them a pass.
In the perspective, I said proper context. Y'all didn't give me the proper context.
You know why? Because it's Friday. We don't ever put things in proper
So y'all didn't say that they was.
That's why we argue every Friday, because we never put it in proper
Y'all
context.
didn't say that they was pushing kids until after I said, well, what's wrong with them getting candy? Like they could get candy too.
Well, you didn't give Mr. Jim Brown a pass. You didn't give Miss
Rest in
Gladys
peace.
Knight a pass.
No.
You
You didn't give your grandma a pass.
So that's a
wait a minute. What happened with your grandma?
Nothing happened with my
nothing
grandma.
happened. I gave him a hypothetical. What if your grandmother was singing the national anthem in Atlanta? He said, nope.
I said we'll have to have a conversation.
That sound like
Why she can't sing the national anthem?
That was around the time with Kaepernick.
Okay. So she wouldn't have been allowed to sing the national anthem.
No.
Okay.
Hey man, and she definitely wouldn't have been allowed to have.
I would love to see you try to stop her.
Allowed. I use that word.
I would love to see you try to stop her.
And she definitely wouldn't have been allowed to have a statement that wasn't written from her.
Okay.
Okay. Hey man, we do have a couple callers.
Get ready to go there.
You ready?
Wow. Yes, sir.
You don't care who it is?
I do kind of care.
Bring it.
No, caller coming to welcome to the program. Welcome to the program.
Good morning.
Hello.
Good morning.
Yeah, good morning. I heard y'all both going back and forth, talking about the younger generation and the older generation. Let's be honest. Neither generation is ready to give Master his God back. That's why Master continues to win. Then when you look at Black History Month, y'all only talk about Rosa Parks and Dr. King.
That's
and
not true.
Only reason,
no, that's not true. Not here. We're very, we're very. Okay, all right, I got you.
Okay, well, put it like this. You only talk about the people that makes Black people comfortable. Because when you bring up Nat Turner, everybody gets quiet. And then they start talking about what God didn't tell him to do. But he made a point to speak to everybody else. Or if you bring up the slave rebellion, everybody gets quiet. You bring up Cecil John Rhodes, Prince Leopold, George Marshall Clark, who was lynched in Milwaukee, you have absolutely nothing. Then they go right back to Rosa Parks. Jasmine Brand threw the punches with the same bus driver as Rosa Parks. So why would they speak about your history when you're ashamed of your own history, and then you go back and talk about, well, we're nonviolent. But when it comes to your own people, all that nonviolence go out the window. Because see, when some of y'all get that liquor in y'all system, y'all be the first to say you would kill a nigga. But when it comes to them non-Blacks, y'all talking about how can we do this and how we Christian and good people. Have a good day.
And I thank you for that, but I know we do. Obviously, we have Michelle Bryant here, so we just can't, be. But we talk about this year. I know particularly we talked about
through Black History Month.
We talked about Claudette Colvin. Claudette Colvin was arrested before Rosa Parks.
Absolutely.
But she had other things, and I think that they were playing a optics game. Who would be more palatable? Gets back to
no, it's not a you think. That's definitely what they played. They admitted that.
I give them credit because what they did was try to give themselves a chance. With certain optics, if it don't look right, you're not going to get the bleeding hearts and all of the above that comes along with that to actually get the support that you need to get stuff done.
Which is hence why
that's
Dr.
called
King
strategy.
chose nonviolence.
That's called strategy.
No, but and I think that this is something I would suggest when you talk about that strategy. We hear nonviolence, but it's nonviolent resistance,
right?
We put the resistance piece off. The resistance part of it is very important, right? So what we hear is that somehow these folks are just scared. As a matter of fact, that's why you had to go to those training sessions, right? Because the first inclination as a human being is to survive. If you hit me, I'm gonna hit you back. And so they had to do some deprogramming because it was a greater point that they were trying to make. And I will say this to folks, that took an enormous amount of courage. Took a whole lot of courage. And in some ways it was very effective.
Yeah, but you had to be dedicated to the cause to let somebody turn a dog on you and turn the hoses on you and all the things that they endured for the greater good.
Which is something that I said a while ago. When that was a movement, people were willing to die for that. And we don't have that.
Well, I think there's still people out there.
When you require change
collectively,
you will do what's necessary to
collectively, everybody wasn't prepared to die. When you're looking at it, that's the other myth about the civil rights movement.
there were a whole lot of black folks who weren't down with civil rights, right? You had folks who like
a lot of church folk
a lot of church folks were.
But when I say collectively, I'm not saying everybody. What I'm saying collectively, I mean there was a specific group of people that they were all in.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm talking about. Right. Obviously, there's people who wasn't all in. You know what I mean?
That the Stevens?
But we're not talking about them.
I think that there were people who, for whatever reasons.
No, Stephen was on the other
collaborator,
side.
Man. Yeah. Stephen was at a. You know who it is?
But just that mentality.
That brother
right?
who was taking the pictures.
Mm.
There's a PBS documentary on this brother.
Stephen
was
is
a spy for the FBI.
Mm.
He was there acting as if he was taking pictures for the civil rights, just for history.
Okay.
He wasn't. I'll pull him up.
Stephen was the dude who set up Fred Hampton.
Mm.
Yeah, that brother. That's the other thing.
The infiltrators. Yeah.
Infiltrators.
So that piece is always going to be.
But you always have to be mindful, no matter what. Jesus had one with him.
Mm-hmm.
You always going to have some people who will say, you know what?
So does that make them?
Give me the bag.
Right.
Before we go to the caller, does that make them more clever than you?
No.
I mean, because they played both sides and they made you, because you can't infiltrate something unless you're in there.
That weight that
you know what I mean?
carry.
Like he had to be allowed in the circle, and he had to do something to be in that circle and stay in the circle.
But you don't do the vetting, and that's what Kathleen Cleaver was saying with the Black Panther Party and why they were so easily infiltrated. We were just happy people said he was coming to join.
Right.
They was down with the cause. They ain't doing any vetting to go like, where this dude come from. There's a famous story, right? It was actually 3 weeks before the riots in LA, 93, whatever.
Rodney King
riots, right? And the Bloods and the Crips had come together and had formed a truce.
Mm-hmm.
And there's one dude going like, no, man, no, man, we can't do this. We can't do this. And then somebody go, well, first of all, who is this dude? And then they said, we need to follow this dude. And come to find out, he was a police plant. So, you get into what people will do because you are a threat. And when you're a threat, major governments are going to eliminate any threat. Folks need to be clear on that. And though in the 60s, everybody was talking about the revolution, and I just looked at it again, the spook who sat by the door, we can go in and we can do all that. But it was something my buddy, who was an ex-Marine, Vietnam era Marine, told me. He said, Keith, when you have the U.S. government on your ass, you truly have somebody on your behind.
Right.
Because they have the resource. It's like you going, what is the criminal conviction rate for the feds? Like 95%? Now, most people plead.
I think it's higher than that.
Most people plead. But if you go to court, you don't have the resources to fight the U.S. government.
And truth be told, 9 times out of 10, probably 99% of the time, when they come to you and you now know they own you,
you're already guilty.
They got enough already.
They got enough on you.
Yep.
They got enough.
You're
on
done.
You done. I mean,
I don't think we consider there a level of corruption that goes into that,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah. Because it's a means to an end. It is not ethical, though. In order to have an ethical act, you must have good means, good intention, and a good end. You have to have all three. And they can ration up. What did I just send to you all that thing about politicians lying? I don't know if you guys took a look at that. That was fascinating. Caller, welcome to the program.
There's a lot on the table. Forgive me for double dipping, but after you got going there, I heard all this stuff over the. But first of all, just let me say thank you, Keith, and thank you, gentlemen.
Tyrone, it is a talk show.
We do a little singing every now and then, a little song breakout.
Oh man! Thank God for Saturday. Thank God for Saturday. Forgive me. I'm having fun with it, but admirable points all across the board. Brother DJ, Brother Craig Steenley, Keith, all of you. The generations are. It's hard to put in. You can't put it in a time capsule or in a hourglass because it's just like the technology. I mean, chess checkers. Pencil pen to technology. I mean, the generations now, even if the generations under you, DJ, I'm 65. I guess you know whatever your age is, but I was around at the gas station a couple of days ago. 3 young ladies came in. Sir, will you buy me? I'm like, look here, young lady. If I buy this for you, your parents will be looking for me, trying to figure out why I bought this stuff damaging your health. You know,
cool, right?
You know,
you ain't gonna tell nobody, right?
I'm not buying this. I don't even smoke, so I can't buy it for you. You're beautiful. All 3 of you are beautiful young sisters. Don't buy this stuff to be damaging yourself. I can't buy it from you. As much as I love you, you may not like me, but I can't do it. I can't buy it for you. God bless you. I love you. Take better care of your health. You got all your babies to make and stuff yet. They're still yet. Don't damage your health and stuff.
You didn't say all of that. You got all your babies to make.
That was transferred through telekinesis.
Yeah.
But you know, to DJ's point there, you know, as far as listening,
looking hard enough.
As far as listening, you know, yeah, that's one thing. You know, and libations and best generation birthday to the senior elders for her 90th plus birthday. You know, so from the eldest to the youngest, yeah, we have to do a better job of listening across the board, and then we have to, you know, Brother Quaco had a great show the other day. I called in, I didn't get around to, but he put a whole list of things out there we should do to get ourselves to a better place.
Hey, Tyrone Dub, I wanted to ask you, man, what's that little thing you be squeezing? The little squeaky. What happened?
Oh, that's Ellie the elephant, man.
Can we hear it?
Let me see. Hold on a second.
So he said an elephant, mind you.
Yeah, it's Ellie the elephant.
That's the symbol of the Republican.
Uh-oh.
Oh, well, I mean, no.
This the GOP symbol.
Ellie the elephant. Actually, she came off of a bicycle handle.
All right.
And I
put it back on there. Put it back on the bike.
Was it a Stingray with a sissy bar? All right, man. Appreciate you, man.
You got another caller, man. Let's move on.
Remember those Stingrays with the sissy bars, man?
You got another Tyrone, I think.
Good morning. You're on there.
Yeah, this is Tyrone D.
Yeah, you got Tyrone W.
You know,
the other team.
They done clone many Tyrone.
You better call Tyrone. But you can't use my phone.
Hey, you know this? One of the most interesting things is that when we learned in '68 that with Martin Luther King's last march, that riot was started by FBI informants.
Yep.
So they could embarrass Dr. King. So they started breaking windows, and people couldn't figure out why would these folks do that. They were supposed to make him look bad and to try to disgrace him. And so when you think about it, how many people were insiders on Malcolm's assassination? How many people were
was an undercover cop the day he got shot?
Undercover people who were part of some of the riots and stuff. And so you go like, it wasn't all what you see. You just have to know who it is and whether they want to embarrass or disgrace them in ways in which they lose their credibility. You know, that riot, they tried to take away Dr. King's credibility. And so it's just amazing sometimes. So when you dig deeper, I always say that, you know, one of the things is, I always say you got to always look. It's like, you know, they always say when you look at cat litter, it looks good on the top, but don't dig too deep. You know, so sometimes in life, sometimes you got to dig deeper than what surface gave you. And so but we know that those things were, it's always information to be had and to be found, and to know how people perceive you, because sometimes they perceive you as a threat. When I went for office in 2002 for the county exec's office, when I got back to work at MPS, somebody sent an envelope of white powder. And so my mail had to be isolated for a month. And then I was saying, what kind of message are they sending me? Was I that much of a threat that you needed to send me this white powder? And of course, that was during the time that they were
anthrax.
Anthrax. All that stuff was coming. So I couldn't do my mail for a month. They had to have somebody pull it aside. And so it was like, so what was the intimidation? So at any level, you can get that kind of intimidation if somebody thinks you ain't the one they want to see, and they want you to quit. They want you to give up because they want to intimidate you. And so, yeah, in any level, it can happen. So you just got to hold on to who you are and keep on keeping on.
All right, man. Appreciate you.
Excellent.
You're welcome, you guys.
Yeah, man.
I don't, and that happens at all levels or at every, you know
why?
Aspect of government interaction.
You know why? Because as Chief Parker so famously said when people were criticizing the LA police, he said, unfortunately, we recruit from the human race. And we bring in, but
where does the motive get initiated?
The motive gets into that individual. You know, what got into Judas? That a person who came in and really believed in the mission that Jesus was promoting, and then he would betray him. You know, our humanity is there.
I think that's twofold too.
Yeah, it's our humanity. That's why I keep telling people, don't come in here arguing with me about scripture. Live them. You know, I mean, that's what it's there for you to live. We get in the great debate game. The debate should be within myself. How am I living this thing I'm sitting up here arguing about? Because we get away from that little piece of it, and we'll go back and forth to, that's great. We should have these academic arguments about this and whether you accept that. But when it comes down to it, what am I as a person? And we talk about, I just heard somebody say it, I'm glad I heard somebody say this. Never say what you're going to do until you're in the situation.
That's true.
Because it's easy for me to sit up and say what I would never do. But then you get into the situation and there are all these influencers and all these factors there that you're trying to consider. And then now you made a human decision. And it could be the right decision, could be the wrong decision, but all that goes into it. So am I disappointed when people fail? Yeah. Do I understand why people fail? Yes. I mean, we're all struggling with, or we should be anyway. I don't think there's some people out there even struggling with it. This is what I am. Donald Trump ain't struggling. He don't have a conscience. Right. I mean, you want to believe that everybody has a conscience. I guess everybody don't.
Well, you know, you use that, him in particular, and it relates to, you know, how corruption, you know, the little leaven leavens the whole lump. And so thinking about how it is that a whole government can be overturned and become corrupted when you have one individual who is given the kind of exposure, and then he spews out the kind of venom and, you know, vitriol and all of the things that we associate, you know, with 45 and the orange one and the corruption that his history is. And now we see that we've encountered the first, you know, ever insurrection that actually entered the Capitol, the first person who sat in that seat of the Oval Office at the head of the government in this country with the button, and, you know, has been able to put himself in a position now where he can again inflict that kind of harm if he gets an opportunity again. But you see it happening.
I'm just gonna go back to what Keith said about motive. And I said that it's twofold because one, someone already enters a situation with a motive. True. You know, before you even know, they already have an idea. It could be something as simple as, I applied for this job because ... And then two, let's just say we're a part of a group, we build something up, and initially your motive wasn't to, you know, throw hate or salt on somebody, but as time goes on, because of all of the things that has happened and to the displeasure that you feel that you are not receiving some credit that you deserve, then your motive could change. And I think that in history, when we've talked about those people like the guy who did that with Fred Hampton, he was already in that. He was already in that for a specific reason. When we talk about someone.
Well, here's where it's survival, though, right?
But he had a motive, and he carried out what the goal. You know, that was his goal. Now he didn't.
Right.
It became unsettling to him as he got older, and then he committed suicide.
Once
when
he
that
was
doctor
exposed.
right.
Once he was exposed.
So when someone dictates to you your motive, which to a degree is what happened to him, because when they tell him you're going to end up in prison if you don't do these things, right? You're going to be the one.
So then, and I'll ask this question. So to my second part of a motive, where does Judas lie? Did Judas always start off as a traitor, or was it until he was confronted with that choice that then he became?
There's something that Keith
different.
always says related to power, and the fact that if you're in a position like Judas was in, and you recognize that this man is in a position of power in the society, right? Even if the government isn't recognizing it, it's that the power comes from the people.
The government
definitely recognizes.
Oh no, but I'm saying that. So where does power come from? It really comes from
the people.
The people,
and it's attractive. And you could get there. One of the things we how did Jesse Jackson get to Chicago? And why was Jesse Jackson in Chicago? Because Jesse Jackson was so ambitious. Dr. King said, "I tell you what, we got to get you out of here." Right. And that's how he ended up in Chicago. Okay. I mean, it was so, yeah, when you look, if I'm joining organizations and I'm always a political observer, I watch the people out, and there's these four political stratas. They talk about the powerful, the power seekers, the political, and then the apolitical. Right. Most people are in that political, apolitical. You have the people who are really out every day trying to get power, and you got the people who got the power. Right. So when you see people there's ambition there. Their power is attractive. I mean, who wouldn't want the things that go along with power? I mean, here's one thing we don't want to go along with power: righteous responsibility. Because that is the thing. That is Plato when he talks about his enlightened despot, that because you have power, there's certain judicious kind of approach that you should bring to how you administer your power.
And even when we dissect power, it's not, and I could be wrong, but it's not that people actually want power. It's that people want the ancillary benefits that come from power. That's what attracts people to power. It's the perks that come from that power.
What's the greatest perk of having power? That's the number one perk. To be able to go in and be able to move something, move somebody, control something, and as human beings, we are always searching for power in our own lives, power in our relationships. It's people.
But when we connect that into government and how in the Constitution it speaks of, the government deriving its powers from the people.
Right.
Then how does that relate to, I mean, the selfishness comes into play there as elected officials.
I mean, there's no politician that gets into politics and say, no, I don't want no power.
Yeah.
The very position is powerful.
True.
And so the whole institution of politics is about power. Barack Obama even started off saying in one of his interviews, he was a community organizer. Well, then he's talking to people. He said, what did he want? More power. So then he became a state senator. He realized that, the aldermans, they're knuckleheads. He don't want to deal with them no more. So what? He went to United States.
The individual
Senate.
motive for that, and whoever it is, right? Man, if we use Barack, what was his motive initially?
His motive was to create change and to help. But when every move that you're making is because you want to do more, and that more is behind power, then it's power.
No, I get
think
that.
the ideal that you go into, if I have the power, I'll do good with the power.
That's
your ideal,
and,
right?
And then I'll tell people all the time, your motive will determine your method. You know, so the various methods that he implemented, whether it was Barack or if it's Trump now or anyone else in history, particularly in this government, when you recognize that the level of corruption that has really run this country, when you get to a certain level of that power,
but there's still a structure that is in place that once you're embedded into it, we say this a lot about police officers. What do we say? One bad apple can't spoil the bunch. But when we look at the structure and what being a police officer derived from, is meant to harass people. That was the origins of the police officers.
Again,
but now
I would attach
but now when we say police officers, some people will say, well, one, I'm doing this because this is my job. Two, I want to create change and to remove the negative stand of what it is to be a police officer. We get that. We do the same thing with politics. You know, it's people that go in there with the clean heart, clear mindset. Hey, I want to do the right thing. But then everybody understands that what politics, you say right now, politics is corrupt, politics is dirty. And so if you entrust yourself into that position and into that institution,
but
you got a little
everybody have
you.
agendas, and then there are those hidden agendas as well.
Right.
I think that the power in and of itself, be it the end game, when it derives that ability from the people, the masses, then the method that they use once they're there, most people who reach that level will regress back to a place where they say the majority of the people who give me this power aren't gonna get involved or engaged on a daily basis to make sure that they can monitor and keep my power in, basically the reins of it, right? So it becomes unbridled.
But before they get to that point of power, they may have to do some things that go against their character and their integrity.
How engaged, how involved it is to recall somebody once you put them in office.
But I think we quiescently support. We don't do anything. There's no revolution.
Right, but then
what was that word? Quiescent.
Quiet. Yeah, our quiescence. We don't push it back. So then our quietness supports it because there is no pushback to it.
Yeah, I like that quiescent.
Caller, welcome to the program.
Good morning, you're on there.
Good
morning, you're on there.
I don't know. My nephew is a police officer, and he's not like that.
Right, most of them.
That's what I'm saying.
A lot of black officers not like that. So I don't know where you coming from. You probably can't generalize, put every bad apple in a bunch.
That's what I was. That was my point.
Black people out here is doing the right thing.
That was my point. Was you listening to what I was saying? Were you listening? That's what I was saying. Is that there is an institution that is already in place, but then there are others that enter into that institution that is not like that and want to create change and come into it with a pure heart and a mind. But because of the institution, they get some stain on them, even though they are entering into that system.
All I got to do is this, brother. We on the same accord. Okay. All I got to say is encourage everybody to get out and vote. Because we got Donald Trump out here talking crazy. Y'all talking about politics early. We got Donald Trump out here talking real crazy. What he going to do? Do you think he going to do anything for us?
He said he was.
What?
Well, we can't believe it.
Just a more gold tennis shoe.
When he going to do something for us? He said that last term.
Got a Bible for
what
everybody.
What he do for us? He said he had 12% of black vote. I don't know who them vote for him.
2 Corinthians.
Yeah, 2 Corinthians. Right. But it's like, hey, and he got a Bible.
It was upside
down.
down.
Stay out of jail vote.
Oh yeah, that picture, that photo op.
That photo op.
It is a stay out of jail vote. But hey, black folks, y'all better wake up and get out here and vote. We can't let them back in the office.
You know, Rhonda and I were talking. We was talking about the guy. I guess they rejected his bond. He didn't have 125 million. This guy is known as the
They
repo.
rejected it?
Yeah, he didn't have it. But he's known as the repo king. This dude that put up the bond for him in New York.
175 million.
Yeah,
Right.
But he's the repo king. Well, he had that.
He a redneck like Donald Trump. Because if you look at Donald Trump,
right,
he has
Mr.
number
Henry.
4 people behind him.
Right.
Number 4 redneck.
And Rhonda said that we'll get with this dude because we understand repo. Everybody understand. There's some people understand repossession, right? But this dude, they say he averaged something like 5,000 repossessions a day.
Wow.
Yeah.
5,000.
Okay, Mr. Henry, we're gonna try to get one more
Well,
caller
anyway,
in before we end the
but
show.
not only that, is that like I said, watch out. Hey, can you trust Trump? No.
All right. Appreciate
All right,
Nobody.
man. Thank
And
you.
he for us.
All right, thank you. Have a good one.
But he said he was. Carl, welcome to the program.
Hey, what's going on, fellas?
Good morning.
Shalom, brother.
Hey, okay. Listen. Hold on, I got a severe echo. Hello?
Yeah, we're not getting it on this end though.
Okay, I'm getting it big time on this one, but I would just like to say, man, one thing I was listening to was when you were talking about with Dr. King and the nonviolence movement. I've always told people when I spoke to some students some years back that was not necessarily nonviolent. They expected violence. So I don't know how you call that a nonviolent, movement when you were walking right into violence. And it's funny because even today, for those who contrast, like, who will holler, I'm more with Malcolm, I'm more with this, I'm more with that. Well, as the protesters go out from city to city, it's almost similar to Dr. King because you're expecting violence and you're still out there. You're doing a nonviolent movement. And it's almost similar to that, but the difference now is that you do have a mixture of people who will carry and, have things with them. But I would say this to DJ also, DJ, today it is very similar because I believe when people hit the front line, they're just not thinking about death. They're thinking about justice. So the courage is still there, and we still have that, and I'll just kind of leave it there.
I like that perspective.
Okay.
I never thought of it that way.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
It was something that Al Sharpton said. He said, I would have said to Malcolm X, the real struggle's in the South because they're resisting. They're not accepting. They're resisting. Now, you might not like the tactic, but it's still resistance. You're listening to Community Voice. We're up on the last break of the program. We'll be right back.
Vowed to be a, quote, dictator who would get revenge. We can't go back. President Joe Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris are working hard for Black America. They sent $1,400 cash relief checks when they were needed most. Our wages are up. We've got millions of new good-paying jobs, and the cost of insulin is capped at $35 for seniors. There's more to do, but it's clear that on the economy, Black America is getting ahead with President Joe Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris.
I'm Joe Biden, candidate for president, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Biden for president.
The Wisconsin Home Energy Assistance Program end of the season is approaching. Don't miss out on benefits and help with your WE energy bill. Just go to keepwarmmke.org. It's made it easy for you to schedule an appointment. You may also call 414-270-4653. Don't delay. Call us today. Again, that's 414-270-4653. Or visit us online at keepwarmmke.org. This is administered by the State of Wisconsin Home Energy Plus program.
Hi, my name is Tamika Vukovic, co-executive director of Wisconsin Voices. Please join Wisconsin Voices every Monday, Tuesday, and Friday. We will be focusing on community partnerships, voter education, and long-term collective impact for all Wisconsinites.
WNOV 860 and W293CX 106.5 Milwaukee.
Man, this time went by fast.
All right, welcome back to Community Voice. We still have a few minutes left. Bucks and Raptors tonight.
I'm curious as to what y'all think about Dame's injury.
The groin?
Is it a
groin
real injury?
Yeah, it's a groin injury, and they're not gonna.
It ain't got nothing to do with him being pulled out of the game a couple games ago.
He was pulled. I don't remember that.
I remember that.
Oh yeah, he was pulled out of a game late, and I guess he had a couple choice words for Doc.
What?
Towards the end of the game.
Oh yeah, that was.
I didn't see that.
No, that was a couple of weeks ago. Yeah,
really.
They had a conversation. Yeah, but no, he has a groin injury, and they're trying not to strain the groin.
Aggravated before the
before the playoffs. They so close to the playoffs. I don't know if their seeding might drop to 3.
Mm-hmm.
But you gotta. But that's a problem because when he's not on the floor with Middleton and Giannis,
well, they have no point guard, man. I was at the game a couple days ago. Connaughton bringing the ball up, man. Even if you have a third string G leaguer who's a point guard, bringing the ball up.
Couple games.
He played the other night.
For a little bit, and when he was on the court, they looked functionable.
Yeah, well, he did hit the 3. He did hit a 3.
But as far as just being able to drive and kick and set stuff up, who naturally handles the ball. They have no point guard.
That will have to be resolved next season. They have to deal.
Every team always had 3-point guard.
I got that, but they don't. They're gonna have to make the adjustment.
How dumb is that?
How long are they gonna last in the playoffs?
Well, can you fire a coach after you fired a coach after what? I mean, and I'm already hearing people saying Doc Rivers should be fired. So
they're not gonna fire Doc.
Well, they can't afford it. They're already paying 4 coaches.
Yeah, you can't because and there's probably tipping towards what $100 million for coaches.
Yeah. They got I mean, after a while, because
he got 40 million. Yeah, he got 40 million. No, we don't know.
And they're still paying Bud, right?
Bud this would have been his last year of his contract, I believe.
Griffin's getting paid.
Griffin still got 4 or 5 years on his contract.
Yeah, so, but it was tough. As much as I'm a fan, I'll close the door. As much as I'm a fan of Dame Lillard, I don't think this was a good trade. Not because he's not a great player. I just don't see the chemistry piece is important.
He's not no leader.
Okay,
he don't bring it on a night to night basis.
Well, they got a leader. They got Giannis, so they got a leader. Bucks. They got a leader.
No.
I don't think they brought him in for leadership. They brought him in to score 32 points a game.
As a point guard, you're the leader of the team.
In the locker room,
right?
As a point guard, you're the team. Yeah, I don't know.
It's supposed to be Giannis.
But your best player isn't always the leader, though. So
so
we clearly see.
Could you see
what's going on right now?
Patrick Beverly,
no,
Crowder,
no.
They are veterans.
They're veterans, but they're not.
No. I'm talking about the personality, the voice. Somebody who is not intimidated by Giannis's status on the team.
Bobby Buckets.
At Portis could be, but is he vocal?
Somebody told me I know we gotta go. Somebody told me the other day, yeah, man, Bobby Portis should be getting paid what Chris Middleton's getting paid. That's like, dude, put the crack pipe down. Come on, man. He's getting.
That's a little bit much, but he should be.
He get a couple more million. I say he deserves a couple of more million, but it ain't not Chris Middleton. We're not talking about 38, 39.
I do think that's where they're gonna fall short when it comes to the communication that's needed in order for them to, have a sustained run.
All right. Hey, let me thank Craig Stingley, First Friday. Appreciate you, man.
Shalom, family.
Devon Jones, DJ the Protege, thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Debo, thank you. Harvey, thank you, sir. Callers, we all thank you. The good Lord willing, Creek don't rise. Hope to talk to everybody on Monday. You have a safe weekend and go from this place in peace.
By love and peace.